To accomplish this hairstyle successfully, we want to have our hair long enough to grab with a butterfly clip or a hair tie, so when we're cutting the sides, the top isn't in our way. Start by wetting the hair on the top and around the crown of our head thoroughly to make the parting process easier. Once damp or picked out, use the rat tail comb to separate the hair from the top and sides. If your hair is straight or wavy like mine, comb the wet hair back and then slide the tail of your comb where you desire the part to be placed. Then run your fingers along the comb, grasp the section of hair, and drag the comb down to separate the hair and create the part. You're going to continue to use this separation method until you are content with how your part is looking. Remember that the straighter and neater your part is, the easier it will be to cut and maintain. When the majority of the part is done, clip or tie the long hair on top so it isn't in the way. Here I'm pointing out to you that I've reached the furthest area on my head that I can see, using only the mirror in front of me. So it is now time for me to incorporate the mirror behind me in order to see the back of my head. Luckily for me, I was given this huge closet mirror by a good friend in 7th grade. I've been using it ever since to cut my own hair. But I'm positive that you can use a much smaller mirror, as long as you don't have to hold it. I also use a chair with a 45-pound weight for it to lean against on. That way I can turn it towards the spot on my head that I wasn't able to see before using only the mirror in front of me. Once we can see the back of our head, continue with the same separation method as before. I want the back of my undercut to be shaped as the corner of a triangle, so I'm sliding the tail of my comb diagonally, as I will do the same to the other side, so they can come together and form a point. You can part it differently if you desire a dissimilar shape, but this is the way I wanted mine. It is important to have the parting as straight as possible so your undercut continues to look neat as you go on living with this style. And when it's time to cut the sides again, the separation process will be a lot more easier. When you're satisfied with the parting you've made, hold on to the long hair on top and clip it so you can begin the cutting process. We want to cut our hair as patient and effectively as possible. So in this case, we need to start close to the part and hold our adjustable clipper like the second method I discussed, pointing the cutting blades down. That way, there's no possibility in cutting the long hair on top, allowing it to grow. Do these 2-inch downward strokes along the part until we reach the end of it. Here, I'm pointing out to y'all that I'm directing my attention to the mirror behind me to see the back of my head, and then I proceed with the 2-inch downward strokes. It also helps to push the hair on the sides down, right before we're about to go over them. That way, when we release them, they spring upward, making it easier to cut. Now you want to return to the front and begin to use upward strokes only up to the part, making sure the cutting blades or even the guard doesn't touch the long hair at all. It may look like I am in this video, but I'm not. Once the cutting teeth are pretty close to the part, lift off slow and effective strokes until you are finished with this side of your head. Feel free to go back to cutting with the second method if you see some hairs sticking out that are close to the part. Make sure to bend your ear to go over the hair behind it. Turn the mirror behind you closer if there is an area on your head that you want to see clear. Be careful not to cut any long hairs that might be dangling that blend into the hair you are cutting. If there is, get them out of the way. After cutting one side of our head, we must move on to the other. Here we will be repeating the same procedures, only this time we'll be connecting the part to the one we've previously made. Remember, if you have really curly hair, you do not have to wet it. Just detangle it by combing or picking it out. Once your hair is detangled, point to the spot on your head where you want to begin the new part so you get a visual of where you need to place the tail of the comb. Make sure it's symmetrical to the other side. Commence the part and connect it to the other side, making sure it comes out straight, then repeat the procedures already demonstrated. If your hair dries up as quick as mine, feel free to add more water to make it easier to direct. Then proceed with the parting until you are satisfied. Again, cut downward along the part. Return to the front and cut upward close to the part. When you're cutting upward, make sure to begin at the natural hairline so you don't leave behind any missed long hairs like I did here. Now that the majority of the sides are cut, tie the long hair on top. This way, any long hairs close to the part that we might have missed will stand out much more. If some are visible, comb them down. Then go over them with the clipper. In this case, I'm cutting these hairs in many directions to produce a shorter look because my hair grows in different directions, and to get the hair as short as possible, we need to cut against it. Here you can clearly see the shape of my undercut that I was going for.